Grant and Brad's Ghastly Gab.
Welcome to Grant and Brad's Ghastly Gab. I'm Grant.
I'm Brad.
And thank you for tuning in so you can tune out.
Ah.
Isn't that what people say? The tune out part?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're referring to.
I don't know. It was that thing of like when TV was bad, and it was like you just tune in to tune out, like it turned off your brain type thing.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah,
okay, yeah, because you had a rough day.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Goldbergs dad.
Yeah. You just don't want to deal with it anymore. You turn on the TV.
Chair.
Yeah.
Take your pants off.
Yeah, the boob tube.
Yeah, fair enough.
So how you been, man? I know that we had an impromptu maze trip.
We did.
that we weren't really together, but we were there at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, we saw each other. It's hard. I think that our kids are in very different places right now, which you guys made apparent. You and Abby almost seemed like frustrated, like, but not frustrated, but like almost like frustrated is the wrong word, but like you were like yeah, this is what it's like now.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're trying to make sure that she has some contact with friends.
Yeah, sure. And
then,
you have to.
Yeah, and then it's just like, well, I mean, for me at least, it's weird just because I don't know why, I don't know what I did, but I'm the weird. I mean, I know why I'm the weird one, but like her and her friend literally, like, we picked her friend up. I hadn't said shit. I was driving, and I asked like one question. I don't know what it was, and they just kind of both went, "Uh-huh," and then instantly started texting each other in the back seat, fucking laughing. And I told Abby, and I was like, "They're making fun of me, and I don't know what I did." So like, it's just that thing of getting used to, a teenager, I guess.
Yeah. How old is she? Is she 13?
No, she's 12.
She's 12. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
12. I mean, I'm interested to see what it's going to be like because Cameron's 10 in January.
Yeah.
And we're still pretty cool.
Oh, I mean, it happens. I mean, I have no problem admitting this. I have, and I don't know if I told you this, but I like cried like one night because I realized that it happens so fast that like one day, all they want to do is hang out with you and play, and like we had our little games and we would do certain things, and then I realized just one day like we don't do it. It's never been asked. Like we don't do any like those games anymore. Now like we still we jump on the trampoline or go rollerblading or play basketball. But the like smaller, the younger games are done. Like we're not playing with Legos anymore. We had those other like building block things. We're not doing a lot of things. And I don't know if you ever saw like that tweet or something, but it was like there was one day where we all went out to like play baseball in the summer, and that was the last day we ever did that. Like you never know it's going to be the last time until way later, I guess. And it's just it made me really fucking sad because there's no backwards. I can't go back to that now. She's gonna keep getting older,
Yeah.
So I don't know, and that's the reason I don't know if you've watched it yet. I cannot watch that Inside Out movie, that Pixar movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've as far as the Disney movie, I guess I'm just not a Disney movie guy.
I like most of the Pixar movies, but it's about that. It's about the emotions inside of a 13-year-old girl's head. But I'm starting to get but like throughout the movie, you realize that what it is her getting older and turning into an adult, and all that like fun time and the silly times and like being ridiculous, like they're slowly changing, and she'll never be like that again. Like she'll never be the little girl again that will act ridiculous. Now she's too cool for school. So
right.
So yeah, it's just kind of sad. But I mean, yeah, that's what it was. It was kind of like we had to like kind of stay away from her, but then at the same time, you got to watch them, and especially now, like Maya's smart enough, but with all this pandemic shit, who knows what they're doing? I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, it's tough, and that's what the last time maybe Brandy actually talked to you, and me and Cameron were over shooting paintballs.
Paintballs, yeah.
And I think that they were like yeah, I think we need to leave. They just want to go.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. Abby came over because I started talking to Brandy, and then Abby came out to see what I was doing, and then so she started talking to Brandy, and then Abby just kind of like gave me the like, they keep asking where we're at. I think they want to leave, and I was like, what the fuck? Like I'm talking to Brandy, but okay.
right. And it does. It sucks because it's hard because it's like the last time you were at the maze was literally 12 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like she was different then, and I'm sure she wanted to do more.
Yeah.
And this year, it's like you brought a friend, and it's like really they just want to like they're done with that shit. And it's hard. Yeah.
But I mean, it is like now that we've been through it, and you kind of know like she'll come back around.
Yeah.
But it still kind of sucks that like she's not like 8 years old anymore, and and when you're in the moment, you don't. I mean, I tried, but you don't think about I guess trying to remember every part of it because you're like, this will happen tomorrow. Where like I'll come home and we'll play, and then like I said, one day it just doesn't. So
right.
Hell of a way to start a horror movie podcast.
Really bringing down GBGG.
I know GBGG. We'll bring it back up. We haven't lost it yet. Shit. I just checked it again. We're up to like 750 views on that fucking summer movie one. Every other video, 4. This one, 750. So I don't know. I don't know what. It's not like the podcast downloads. Like I checked the download page. There's like 9. I don't know what is going on with this video.
I have no idea.
I haven't posted shit because I haven't had time. So
I don't know.
All right. So
have you watched anything? What is it? We are 3 more days till Halloween.
Is it? Fuck. Yeah, 3 more days till Halloween. Yeah, I have. I actually have had a decent October. At the times I'm able to get home. Like we went to pumpkin patches. We've been carving pumpkins. We went for a walk like out in the trees, the autumn trees, because I love going out and like seeing. And we've actually had a great autumn. I feel like we didn't do the usual Ohio thing where we go right from summer, 2 days where it's 60 degrees and then fucking winter. Like it's been nice, and the trees have actually changed, and like the weather's been nice. I feel.
See, and I feel like the last several years have been like that. I feel like the last several years have been pretty good because I remember when we were like in our mid-20s having a few in a row that were like we were sitting there on my porch at the apartment. Remember that porch we used to sit on?
Yeah. Well, during like football.
It would be like 85 on like Friday October 12th.
Yeah.
And it was like pretty. But I feel like the last few years have been pretty good. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of that kind of thing too, trying to get out as much as we can, throwing a lot of baseball in our backyard.
Yeah. So yeah, I got to. Let's see. Remember, I watched Scream by myself. I finally got to it.
I watched Scream.
Yeah, it's and every time, man, like there's always something new that I pick up on that movie. My new favorite part of the movie is there's something that Stu does. Like everything that Stu does at the end of that movie is fucking gold. Like Matthew Lillard doesn't have too big of a part, and then it turns into him just screaming at Billy like they didn't have a fucking plan.
Right.
What?
My favorite part is when David Arquette comes out and picks up the phone.
Hello.
I don't know why.
Well, it's not needed.
It's so ridiculous.
They could have cut the scene. Like Rose McGowan tells him to fuck off, and like they walk away. They could have cut the scene there. But instead, he like for some reason thinks that they're going to be on the side, like the other side of the phone.
His eyes are so like, I don't know. He's like Clint Eastwoodish,
and he has the gun still, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so. He has a white T-shirt. He's like, "Hello." I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
I can't think what they said. I had it, but it's like it's something when Nev Campbell's talking to Stu all by himself. And like she says something to him, and it like realizes like that he's in trouble, and he's just like, "What?" Like he has this realization of what he's just done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I watched Scream. Watched Trick or Treat. Finally, I got around everything.
I just watched that last night.
Yeah. We watched Nightmare for Christmas, and I think we had this debate last time. Abby and Maya looked it up. They said that the director said it's a horror or a Halloween movie. I still disagree because I'm watching that whole movie thinking it's Christmas time. But that's for everybody else to decide, I guess. and like I had this list in my head, and I fucking because I can cut this out. Scream, or not Hocus Pocus. You okay? I can't think of anything else right now. If it pops back in my head, you can go
I can
ahead.
tell you, I watched.
I usually write them down, and I didn't write them down this time.
I watched a lot of specials. I just got done watching The Haunted Mass with Cameron and Brandy and Lizzie.
I watched Ichabod Crane.
Okay.
So
That's
that's
you the
always
cartoon.
yeah, that's always one of my things because that was a big one in my childhood. I watched it every year. I waited by the TV to watch it, so I make sure that Maya watches it every year.
Gotcha. I also I watched Halloween, the original.
I haven't. I think that'll be tomorrow night for me.
Okay. I don't think I'm gonna have time to watch anything tomorrow because we're going trick or treating with my parents.
Okay.
I think we're gonna get home late, so I'm just not sure.
We're carving pumpkins and staying inside.
And I want to watch Halloween Havoc because it's on tonight.
Oh yeah, it's NXT's doing that this year, aren't
they? Yeah, so I kind of want to see it because I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then I watched Candy Corn, and I'm sure I watched something else because I didn't have Scream on this list until you said it, and then I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, so I think we talked about before how much Maya fucking hates Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
Right? Teen Wolf is the worst. Like, she actually almost put Mars Attacks below it, but she said that she thinks she hates Teen Wolf more. But I showed her a movie that she said is worse than Teen Wolf. Do you have any guesses what that movie could be? I mean, out of the billions of movies that have been made.
I mean, was it the Howie Mandel movie?
No, Little Monsters?
Yeah, Little Monsters.
No, she said that wasn't that bad, but she said that it's ridiculous. But she's starting to realize that any movie that it was made in the 80s and 90s, she's going to assume is ridiculous.
Okay.
So, but this movie was made in the 80s.
Okay, it was made in the 80s. So
it has its own theme song.
Ghostbusters?
No.
Now all I can think of is Ghostbusters.
Give up?
It's a horror movie?
Yeah, it's a comedy.
No, is it a horror movie?
It's a comedy that has horror elements in it.
A comedy that has horror elements. So like a Little Monsters, Gremlins, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. There's a lot of big players in this movie, but it's very under the radar. Like, it's not talked about much.
Okay, what is it?
Transylvania 6, 5,000.
Oh, yeah.
It's. I mean, you got Michael Richards. You have Jeff Goldblum. You have Ed Begley. You have Gina Davis. You have the fucking dude from Beetlejuice and Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Edward Rooney.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's his name? Jeffrey something or?
I don't know, but you have.
I forget his name.
You have.
He got in trouble with the kids, right?
Yeah.
With kids porn or something.
Yeah, you have that guy. Tons of people in this movie, but like she did want it to be over, and I understand why. Like, I'm watching these people perform. Like, they're all great, like actors or comedy. Like Michael Richards is going to be on the screen by himself, so I'm loving it. But then I realized that like she doesn't know who any of these people are. She doesn't give a fuck, and then they don't end up being monsters. Spoiler by the end of the movie. So it's like, what is this movie like? So
it's kind of like Rocky Horror Picture Show in a way. Like, I don't like Rocky Horror Picture Show. I know that probably is like some people would be like, oh my god, it doesn't like Rocky Horror Picture Show, but it's just like fuck. If they break into one more fucking song, I'm gonna sauce my head off.
Can we make can we make that the voice if anybody's ever criticizing us? Oh, Brad doesn't like the Rocky Horror.
Oh
no,
yeah, that's fine.
I do enjoy Rocky Horror, and I love myself some Susan Sarandon. But I actually went to the one of the showings, like one of the midnight showings, and Kelly and I had to leave just because we were a little bit drunk, but we had no idea what was going on, and it's crazy. Like, they're shouting stuff at the screen. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense of what they're shouting. And we eventually just left because it was too much and like too loud, and we weren't able to do anything.
Yeah.
I know it's a big thing. It's a cult following, and you go.
It's a thing.
Yeah, you go see the movie, you shout stuff at the screen, but I didn't get it.
I think you either get it or you don't, and I don't get that one. Yeah. But you know what? I love My Blue Heaven, so it's like I'm sure some people would be like, "Why would you like that movie?" And it's
Yeah.
like I just do.
Yeah.
So you know,
Yeah. And like the nice thing at this age is that like we can just say we like movies, and then it's like, well, why? And it's like, because I do. And
because I do.
yeah.
Yeah. And maybe if I watched Rocky Horror when I was younger,
Mm.
and maybe it would have a better place. But like I tried to really sit down and watch it in the past 12 months because I'd seen parts and pieces, and I think I may have watched it when I was dating a certain girl in middle school,
Mm.
and I just didn't get it. I just
Yeah.
didn't. It wasn't for me. Like they broke in a song too much, and I just didn't like it.
You don't
Meatloaf
like
died really quick, and it just didn't.
Meat.
Nothing about it made sense.
The Meatloaf death is my favorite part of that movie because he fucking shows up and runs his motorcycle into something, and then he's gone. And it's like, well, they must have had Meatloaf for like a day, I guess.
Yeah, but it's like the chick seemed to like be in love with him,
Mm-hmm.
the Columbia chick, and then like, but then it was a thing, and then he was like, I just couldn't do it. I just
Yeah.
it was so ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous
Mm-hmm.
that I just didn't like. It was like spoofy.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't like spoof. I don't like spoof movies.
I don't like spoof movies either. No spoof
So
movies.
yeah, the spoofs.
Hey,
Except I'm sure there is one or two that I absolutely love that we could be considered spoof. Like for instance, I love Rick Moranis in Ghostbusters, and he's spoofy as shit in that movie. Like his character, Lou's so over the top.
I guess,
That,
yeah. Like
but I love it.
the way he talks and everything. Like no
Yeah, the way
normal
he
person
moves.
talks like that. Yeah.
No, yeah, but I love it. I don't know why.
Another thing, just to break out my favorite part of Ghostbusters 2 is when Rick Moranis, when he's fucking all dressed up and he has the proton pack and he's running and he just makes sure to say Happy New Year to everybody, like why he's running with this proton pack. But yeah, so that it for the movies for you?
Yeah, as far as I know. And we did go to the Yogi Bear campground to celebrate Halloween.
Oh yeah, how did Harry Potter weekend go? Is that what it was? Was it Harry Potter?
It was Wizards, Witches, and
Okay.
Goblins, I think.
Okay.
But it was Harry Potter-ish for sure. It was fun though. I mean, we decorated our cabin, and I had bought some stuff at garage sales to deck it out with, and I brought like a couple like blow mold and some blow mold lights and stuff like that I've picked up along the way.
That's why I am excited about this year because Halloween's on a Saturday. Like work is going to be done, and I'm going to try to make it like we're going to go find just something to get out. We're going to find those Minions downtown Grove City. I want to dress up, and Maya said that if I dress up all day, then she'll do it. And I didn't think that she didn't think I'd call her bluff, so I'm dressing up all day.
Okay, what are you dressing up as?
I don't know yet. I haven't. Once I get past tomorrow, I'll be able to actually think about the weekend. But I want to read, I want to turn all the lights off and read scary stories to each other and just do some stuff that we haven't done before.
Yeah. Randy's mom's in town starting tomorrow, so we did trunk or treat tonight at Cameron's school. So that's the second trick or treat my kids have done. Tomorrow we're going to my parents' house for their trick or treat, which is supposed to be cold and rainy, so I don't know how long we'll go for.
For the past 3 years, it's rained on trick or treat night.
Yeah, I remember last year was freezing.
Last year was cold, yeah.
And then Saturday is my trick or treat in our neighborhood. Okay. So we're doing but we're having Brandy's family's coming over, and it's gonna be like I guess the get together you shouldn't have during a coronavirus, but it kind of is what it is. It's kind of gotten there, I guess. So it won't be that many people, but basically her family's coming over. So we'll do mummy dogs and all the good Halloween stuff. Unfortunately, there's a Buckeye game. Fortunately and unfortunately, there's a Buckeye game at 7:30.
So you got that back.
I got it back, but I don't want it that night. I want that game at noon, and I want to watch it and then do the Halloween stuff, and then be able to watch a movie that night. But instead, I'm going to be watching the game.
Okay. So. All right. Well, you did bring up the Goldbergs earlier. So
I did.
You want to get into it?
I do. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not 100% sure what I was supposed to watch, and I didn't take any notes.
Well, if we get all four right that we watched the same thing, and I felt so bad. Sorry for texting you so late, but it fucking hit me where I was.
I was watching World Series.
Okay. Yeah, I was just like, it's not like there's one fucking Halloween episode, so like now which one do I have to watch? But it was smart. I just assumed that it was always the first episode of the whatever season the first one, building on the other ones.
A lot of times that is the case, that there is only one Halloween episode, and then they're kind of like, "Fuck it, we did it, we're done."
Yeah.
And then some, like Roseanne, do it like 7 or 8, 9 of them. So yeah.
So yeah, this whole episode's about TV. We skipped the movies this time.
The art of the Halloween special.
Yeah, the Halloween special.
Art to some extent.
Yeah,
but I don't watch as much TV.
I feel like Goldbergs do it. I feel like Big Bang has actually been one that has reoccurring Halloween episodes.
Do they? Okay. So
yeah, but that is one of the problems, is that I don't know if I watch much. And TV's structured different now, because Modern Family does it, but like there's not that many. They're all considered sitcoms, I guess, but they're not the old like live in front of a studio audience type thing.
Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine did a really good one.
Yeah, I do love the Brooklyn Nine-Nine one. So maybe we might have to break those down next year.
Okay.
Because those are always the heist with the cummerbund, right?
Yeah, he's always trying to figure out how to steal a watch or something, if I remember correctly, or something like that.
I just always remember that Holt, the winner gets like a wrestling belt, and he always calls it like a wrestling cummerbund.
Oh, okay.
So we wanted to go into the TV part of it, and it's kind of nostalgic for us, because it took me back to a place of, you always got a Halloween one, you always got a Thanksgiving one, and you always got a Christmas episode. Like, you knew where you were at by where the sitcoms were.
The sitcoms always did a good job of, like, even Home Improvement especially was one that, like, because it was placed in Detroit is where that was. So yeah, when I first started watching, when I still came on, I lived in Michigan, and then obviously
so you thought it was kind of cool.
Well, yeah, but also it's just like they made it so that in November it looked like November
in Michigan,
in the show.
Yeah.
Things like that they always did. That was always thought that was kind of cool.
All right. Is there any certain one you want to start on?
Well, which ones did you watch?
I watched all 4 of them.
Right, but I'm still not sure which ones I was supposed to watch. I've watched so many. Like, I'm a Halloween special guy, you know that. So I don't think I could have not watched what you watched. But...
Okay, so yeah, I have notes. Brad does not. I watched Third Rock from the Sun.
Scaredy Dick.
Scaredy Dick.
Okay.
I watched the Tool Time one that you sent me. Or it's Tool Time. Jesus.
Okay.
The Home Improvement one you sent me. I didn't catch the name on that one.
I forget what that it's something about the Taylor House of Horror or something along those lines.
And that makes sense by what happened.
Mm-hmm.
The Boo.
The Roseanne. Second season of Roseanne.
Yeah. Yep. And then
perhaps the finest on this list.
And then once again, I didn't catch this one, but it's the first season of the Goldbergs Halloween.
Okay. And I don't know what that one's called.
Not the Stephen King one. If you remember the Stephen King one. Or Stefan King, or whatever she keeps calling him the entire time.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the 4 I watched. And that was the order that I have them in. So if you don't care, we'll just start with Third Rock.
Boom. Third Rock. Watched that last night.
Third Rock from the Sun, one of my favorite shows. I just not recently, but I have rewatched the entire series again. I love it. It is a show for sure that puts me back in probably at that point middle school.
Yeah, 94 to 97, I would say. Yeah. I think it was 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
So it really was big during that 94, 95, 96 probably is what I would imagine.
Yeah. So
who's your favorite character?
My favorite character? I think it has to be Dick.
It's either Dick or Harry. I mean,
yeah, it's just John Lithgow is so fucking over the top.
Yeah,
and then the best part is I don't know if you remember the episode, but there's an episode where Sally actually they switch bodies, and he acts like her and she acts like him, and her actual John Lithgow impression might be better than his than like him being John Lithgow. Like, it's pretty amazing.
And then when Lithgow did the season 4 of Dexter, it absolutely blew your mind if you had never really seen him like that before. Like, because to us, to our generation, he is Dick.
Yeah.
And so to see him be that guy, Kyle, was Kyle his name or something like that? Or was Dexter's name Kyle to him?
Oh, Kyle.
It was something like that. But
that's the best season of Dexter. Like, that's
it was. It's either that or season 1, the Ice Truck Killer. I'm not sure which one it is, but yeah.
And also, he's in Footloose. I mean, come on.
I've never seen Footloose.
I have not either. See, haven't you seen the Footloose?
Yeah, I haven't seen Footloose.
Oh.
And I've seen Dirty Dancing like 75 times.
Well, see, here's another one. I haven't never seen Dirty Dancing. And we made a movie. No, we made a movie called Crazy for Swayze. I've never even seen it.
Yeah, I can't believe you haven't seen it with Patrick Swayze being one of the main characters. It's really good.
I think it was one of those things where growing up, it's like boys don't watch that. And I just never got around to it. Like,
it's so good.
But then at the same time, the like.
But that's what people say about Footloose. I could give a fuck. So.
Yeah, the ultimate guy movie. I haven't seen Top Gun, so fucking I don't know.
I don't think that's the ultimate guy movie.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's like as a guy, you like if my defense is, oh, it's a girls' movie, I wouldn't watch Dirty Dancing, and it's like, but I haven't watched Top Gun either, so
yeah,
I don't know. So yeah, it has John Lithgow. He is Dick. And this is another thing about this show that I love. They were able to make every name of every episode a dick joke.
Yeah,
and they got away with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's at his office. He's a teacher. Oh, sorry. And if you don't know anything about the show, the four of them, Sally, Harry, Tommy, and Dick, are aliens, and they are here to study humans. And so they look like us, but they are aliens. And they are very confused about most of our, traditions or just the way we are. So this is the first time I think that they're experiencing Halloween, right?
Yeah, and I think it's not until the third season.
Yeah, it took a while for me to find, actually.
On the same disc, I always kind of chuckle at it. There's an episode where Dick wants to be like one of the cool kids, so he starts to smoke.
Yeah.
And so the episode's called Dick, Smoker. So it's Dick Smoker. They got away with it.
Yeah.
The TV guy, it said Dick Smoker, literally. Like, pretty amazing.
So it starts out with Dick carving a pumpkin at work. He's in his office at the university, and he shares an office with, at this point, I don't think they were together, him and Albright.
Yeah, Mary Albright. And then what's the other girl's name?
His receptionist?
Yeah, I can't think of it right
now.
Nina, thank you.
Nina. So yeah, and also, side note, I don't know why, and it's not because of Coneheads, and it's not because of Saturday Night Live stuff, but I don't know why, but I find Jane Curtin attractive. I don't know what it is.
Fair enough. Hey, everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
I like My Blue Heaven a lot. Really.
I like My Blue Heaven. You like Jane Curtin. It's okay. Yeah. So he's carving a pumpkin, and he seems very, like, after he carves it, he doesn't know what to do with the guts inside the pumpkin. And he eats them.
And he's just like, fuck it. I'm going to taste this.
Yeah. And then he's not happy after he eats it.
And Garfield made that joke 10 years prior, I just want to point out.
Of what?
The Garfield Halloween special. Garfield goes up to John when John is making a jack-o'-lantern, and he says, well, this looks like the lasagna persuasion. And he starts eating it, and John's like, since when do you like pumpkin innards? And Garfield goes, patooey!
Patooey,
yeah.
So then we find out, I think Nina comes in, and Nina's like, hey, yo, you got a fucking doctor's appointment. I think it's just a routine checkup.
It's a physical, yeah. We haven't done your physical.
And Dick freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
I wish that I had a good Lithgow impression, but I'm not even going to try to do it.
Yeah, it's a tough one to do. And this is kind of like, there's Halloween going on this episode, then there's Dick trying to go to the doctor is kind of the other storyline of this whole episode.
Yeah. So he freaks out. He doesn't want to go to the doctor. Cut 2, Sally and the gang are at a Halloween store. They're looking for costumes. And here's the note I have here. So Tommy, Sally, and Harry are all at the Halloween store. Dick runs in and finds them. This is a time before cell phones. How the fuck did he know that they were there?
I think you could use some sort of alien honing device.
He just knows
what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's... Because isn't Tommy the actual oldest? He's the eldest?
Yeah, I think that's the running joke, is that they made him a teenager, but he's the elder of the group.
Yeah. So...
And then that's the same thing. It's Sally is like the military person, but she's a girl, so it's funny.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Sally, by the way? Did she do anything for teenage Brad?
No, actually, I always found her kind of obnoxious.
Really?
Yeah.
She's a big lady.
She is, and it didn't and I don't mind. I do not mind a big lady, you know that. But um, no, she didn't do anything for me. But admittedly, like back then, I was like in love with like the Kelly Kapowski type.
Oh, okay. Well, and then there was the Danielle Fishel time.
Oh my god! But she was a little thick too. I did like Daniel Fishel.
Yeah.
That was like when I went. Christina Ricci was my
Yeah.
other one, if you remember.
Yep, Christina Ricci.
Those were the two. Was Danielle Fishel and Christina Ricci, who are both not exactly skinny.
No.
So
No. All right. So Dick is still scared of the doctor, and well, no, it cuts back to Dick at the office. He doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to go. And then Sally walks in, and he's like, "What are you doing here, Sally?" And she's like, "I forgot your lunch, or you forgot your lunch." And then I think he says something like, "Well, where is it?" She's like, "I don't know. I didn't bring it. I just want to let you know that you forgot your lunch." Which I don't know at this part where we're at either with the story of, does she work at the university, or is she just there?
I don't know.
Okay, I know at one point she starts working there.
Okay.
So we find out that, so Dick goes to the doctor, and something like triggers him, and I could be missing some stuff, but the note is Dick is scared of everything after he leaves the doctor.
Yeah, he doesn't do well at the doctor, and he runs out.
Now, does anything trigger that, or does he just not like the doctor?
I think he just doesn't like
that.
the doctor. Yeah, I didn't pick up on much of that either. Basically, it seemed like he had a preconceived notion of what it was to be.
Of what could happen at the doctor.
Yes.
So then I put French Stewart, not Harry. He's at home and he's just trying candy, seeing if it's poison, but the way he's testing the poison is that he's eating it. And he's dressed like an alien. Everybody is dressed up in this episode, except for Dick. Well, Dick ends up dressed up later for the best fucking joke I've ever heard in my entire life. So
there's several good jokes in this episode.
Yeah,
but
we'll get there. And Tommy and Sally come out and they're dressed like Sonny and Cher.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the name that actually what everybody else kept calling them.
Oh, it's like Jeff and Ruby Rubenstein or something like that. I forget what it is.
Because their landlord, Miss Dubček, comes up and she fucking guesses it like right away.
Yeah.
So, so then I cut right to everyone's at a costume party. Did we get to the costume party that fast?
So there was a good joke there. Mrs. Dubček is sitting there and they're kind of shooting the shit. And she said something to Harry. She's like, "Well, you're an alien," because he's dressed like an alien, like he said. And he's like, "No, I'm not." And then he says, "Oh,
yeah,
yes." So it was funny and it was easy, but it was French Stewart's reaction, and then his realization of like everything was really. He's so damn funny.
Yeah. So then we get to a costume party that everybody's at. It seems like it's a school costume party, but there's
it does seem like a school party.
There's students mixing with the teachers. I don't know what's going on. Which, side note, I don't know if you know this. I'm sure that we talked about it. The one guy dressed up like Olive Oil is John Lithgow's son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then once you know that, you can't fucking unsee it. Just to let you know too. So I might have ruined this show for you, but
right.
But yeah, he's in the class all the time. He's one of like the slackers in his class.
Okay, is it to do with the long hair?
No, I think it's the other guy.
Okay.
There's like the two kind of burnouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the darker haired one, not the blonde one.
Yeah, the dark hair one is who I'm thinking of. He's kind of fat with glasses.
No. Just go watch it. I can't explain it. Yeah, he's. So then, there's a skeleton talking to Albright, a guy dressed up like a skeleton, and Dick goes over to take care of his lady. Which, once again, I don't know if they're together now or not, but there's obviously feelings there, and he's going to be attracted to Albright no matter what happens in this show. This roller coaster of emotions that he goes on with Miss Albright. He's always going to be attracted to her, so he's like, I got to go talk to this skeleton.
She's the Kelly to his Zach.
Yeah, no matter what, no matter where they go in life, they're going to be together. And he's like, this fucking skeleton better get his... There's no bones about it. Get that skeleton out of here. Am I right? And then he goes over and he's like, and he's a pirate. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. He is a pirate, and he goes over and he's like, "Arr, get your hands off me, wench." And who is that skeleton, Bradley?
It's the doctor.
Doctor. Oh,
The doctor he just ran away from.
Yeah.
Is it this guy?
Yeah. Brad showed me
Okay,
a picture of
I
him.
know exactly. He's in other stuff too.
Okay, but he doesn't have long hair ever, right? I'm not.
No, the guy I'm thinking of is right next to him.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That guy with the
Yeah,
long hair that's always burnout.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's always stoned. Yeah.
Okay. So then, so he goes over, talks to Skeleton, get your fucking hands off of him, and the Skeleton takes off his head, and it's the doctor, so fucking triggers Dick.
Yeah.
And this is the best joke. I fucking laughed out loud last night at like 11 o'clock at night, where the doctor tries to be funny, and Dick is a pirate, and he says, "Hey there, matey, where are your buccaneers?" And Dick responds with, "Under my bucking hat," and I fucking lost it. It's the way that Lithgow says it, like under my bucket hat.
He's so quick and he's so offended.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then once again, they got away with cursing without cursing.
Yeah.
So I hold on, let me find out where I was because I was so ready to fucking tell that joke. Then we cut to Sally and Tommy. Their story because I missed this part. Albright asked them to watch her house for the trick-or-treaters while she's at the party. Yeah. So they're at the house, still dressed up, watching trick-or-treaters, and they run out of candy.
Like, immediately, because Harry's like, hey, why don't we just... Or not Harry, I'm sorry. Tommy, thank you. I wasn't going to think of that now that I called him Harry. Tommy was like, why don't we just put a sign out there? And she's like, perfect. And so they put a sign out, and, like, literally the next person, like 4 seconds later, that knocks on the door, the candy's already gone.
Yeah.
And it said that the Pope took it, I believe, was...
Oh, yeah. Because, later on the Pope comes back into it.
Yeah, I think that they were like, the Pope took it. And they were like, what the shit?
And then... Oh, and then the kids are like bugging him about the candy because these kids really fucking want their candy. Tommy disappears for a little... Well, no, it's a little girl. Tommy disappears. Sally's stuck with this little girl. And then Tommy comes back and hands her half a pound of beef.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty funny. I like that. Just because then what do you do when you run out of the beef?
Well, yeah. I mean, how many half pounds could you have?
I mean, that's way too much. I mean, you could probably give a kid a meatball size. You don't need to give him a whole pound.
Yeah.
Or half pound, I guess. But Dick has now run home because he's so scared of the doctor. Sorry, this is a sitcom. I feel like we are jumping around a lot because a movie's more fluid. This is a sitcom, so we're fucking bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, he bounces from the party quick when the doctor, and he finds Harry there at the house.
And Harry, has Harry already went through the, like, have we seen Harry kind of get scared already?
Yeah, I think he was watching The Great Pumpkin.
And because he got scared of the Great Pumpkin.
He's scared. He's like, watch out behind you, Linus, and whatnot. And he turns it off, but then he hears a ghostly moan when he turns the TV off. Like, oh! And he's like, oh, shit. And so he decides to turn the TV back on. Mm-hmm. And that, I think, is kind of where Dick finds him. Okay. At some point, he's scared. And so I think they start in a closet. They run to the closet.
They run to the closet.
Right? Is that right?
Yeah, they go to the closet, and then they bounce around a couple times because they just keep going to different parts of the house.
They hear something come in, so they go under the table.
Yeah, in the kitchen.
In the kitchen, and that's when you realize it's Mary looking for Dick because Dick took her car keys. Yeah. And this is where I laughed out loud because Dick so smoothly come from under the table. Him and Harry come out from under the table so smoothly, quickly. He's like, so what do you think about 2 people? Like how many people they can get under the table?
Why would you ever need to measure that, though?
Yeah, it's so ridiculous, but it's so smooth how he does it. Oh. And they act as though Mary, Mary! Like, I mean, it made me laugh out loud, so...
So then we cut back to Sally and Tommy, and they're shaking down a kid. He's like tied to a chair, and they want to know who was egging the house.
It's Emil Hirsch.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't pick up on that. Yeah. Gotta have that keen Brad eye. Yeah, got So yeah, and then this is where it comes in, where they're just like, "Fucking, you tell us who the fucking Pope is. Who's the Pope?" Kid's like, "I don't know, man." And then they do the good cop, bad cop thing, where I think Tommy's talking to him, and he's like, I tried, but I got a I'm adiosing, muchacho," and he fucking like walks out, and then Sally, starts fucking being the heavy on him, and I think the kid breaks pretty quick, doesn't he?
I think so.
He's just like, "Fuck this, man!" Like, or she breaks an egg on his head.
Yeah, she breaks an egg on his head.
Yeah, and then he gives up very easily, and he's like, "The fucking Pope lives like 3 houses down." Just to let you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And then we cut back to Dick and Harry, who sees the smoke coming out of the vent.
Well, at first they're like, I don't know if this happened already. We could be slightly out of order.
I think I'm a little bit out of order.
But so one of the better jokes about this episode is they're scared. They think they have a ghost in the basement or something along those lines. And Dick picks up a phone book, and Harry says, "Well, who are you gonna call, Dick?" And Dick is like, "The Ghostbusters." And Harry says, "Are you crazy? This is their busiest night of the year."
I do like that joke a lot.
It's a very good joke.
Yeah. So yeah, Dick calls Ghostbusters, blah blah blah. So then Sally's breaking the eggs on the kid's head, and the kid breaks tells him, and then Mary comes back at the same time, and just is I think that this is one of the only lines that's ever written for Albright is, "What the hell is going on?" Because I think that she's surrounded herself with these fucking weird people, and she's always just like, "What are you guys doing now? What are you getting into now?"
And why would she leave their house with?
I don't know.
Yeah, why would she leave them at their house on Halloween, thinking it would be okay?
And then eggs start coming in through the front door. So obviously the kids are upset with what's going on, but they don't hit Sally or Tommy. They hit Mary.
Yes.
And that's usually she usually gets the brunt of the jokes.
Yeah, she does.
Like in these episodes. So then Harry and Dick go to the basement to get rid of the ghost with coffee.
Yes, which makes total sense.
So they're down and they're hearing like these, like I think there's some knocking or scratching, some type of thing.
And there's a moan like, "Oh!"
And they get more and more scared. Which, to be honest, if that was me, I would be scared too, because I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but if there's some fucking sounds going on that you can't explain, that's creepy.
Yeah.
So I get it, but this isn't so supernatural. What's going on?
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden they hear breaking in the wall. Someone busts through the wall. It's Miss Dubček.
But she looks like a ghost. She's got like white shell over her.
And the joke of Dubček throughout the entire series is that like she chain smokes, and she drinks, and she seems to fancy a gentleman caller a lot.
Yes.
So she explains that she dropped her lighter somehow. I don't know how the fuck it got in the wall.
Yeah, it sounded really weird.
Yeah.
Like,
and then so
it was almost hard to follow.
She was chain smoking in the wall, and that's where the smoke came from. Because she just can't stop smoking.
Right, yeah. That's.
And then we have the realization of the episode. Dick realizes that there's nothing to be scared of anymore, so he's fucking ready to go back to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. Do they cut back to the doctor? Do they ever show what happened?
No, they do go to the doctor, and he's like, "I can't believe that I was so worried about this." And then the final joke of that is the doctor was like, "Yep, see, you had nothing to worry about." Then he tightens the glove.
Oh, that's right. He has the little finger in the hoo-hoo.
Yep.
So, so then this show always ended with the aliens or I guess the 4 characters. I shouldn't call them aliens. The 4 characters sitting on the roof talking about humans, kind of like the weird shit that we do. And maybe why we do it, which I always loved about the show, because it obviously it's a ridiculous show with ridiculous things going on, but it all kind of ended with like, why do we do these ridiculous things? Like trying to figure it out.
Right.
And so they have that heartfelt moment where it's just like every day is Halloween for the aliens because technically they're wearing the costumes.
Right.
And so then I just have there was a ghost. It's Dubček's husband. The fuck does that mean?
I must have missed that.
Okay, well, That's Third Rock from the Sun. That's how we're gonna end that one. So then on to the second one I watched was Home Improvement.
Okay.
Which I completely enjoyed. That one, you found this for free on YouTube, but to get past the YouTube fucking algorithm, everybody's voice is a little bit deeper. I don't know if you noticed that.
It was pretty weird.
Yeah.
But Al's was the same.
Yeah. I forgot how much I watched. This was a show I watched every week, and I forgot how much I love this show.
It's a great show,
and I can't tell you why, but I do. I love the show.
It's just wholesome and good, and especially when the kids are young. And I think you can relate to it as a kid, and then again as an adult, you can relate to it. Like you relate to it in a completely different way.
I think that's maybe what it is. Is it like we were probably around like the JTT age.
Yeah.
And so it's like seeing a kid, like seeing a boy in that age like that. It was kind of like, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you're right. Watching it now, like I haven't watched that since the 90s. Watching it now as a parent, you watch it completely different. You're on Tim's side most of the time.
Yep.
So every episode of this, he hosts a TV show. He's a handyman, Tim the Toolman Taylor, and he's just hosted like a weekly show where he shows you how to build stuff, but really Al is the one that shows you how to build things.
Yes.
So we always start with the tool time, and he's talking about bricks or something like that, and I think Al shoots back. He fired like they're talking about a show. And Al shoots back with, Tim, I think you're bricks. You're a couple bricks shy of a load. 2 bricks shy of a load. God damn it! I fucked this up really bad. I took the worst notes, and then I'm trying to fucking make it make sense. Like I didn't write it like an idiot, but I ended this.
Took notes.
So yeah, Tim makes a joke about bricks, and then Al says, "Hey, I think you're 2 bricks shy of a load," and people laugh. That's all the fuck I was trying to say. Jesus, we spent too much time on Al's opening joke.
Sorry. I know that Tim tries to scare Al, right?
Yeah, well, after that, Tim's like, I gotta go get something. And he fucking walks out. And then Al kind of sits there for a while, and he's like, Tim? And then it cuts to Tim, and he's hiding, and he's like, there is no Tim here. And like he pulls on like a goblin mask. And then he runs up and tries to scare, as I wrote, Aaliyah, but it's Al, and Al is not impressed. He has no reaction. He's just like, no. I'm Al Borland. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, Al has this like straight man, like where he just looks at Tim and he just continues with what he was doing.
Yeah,
and that's what he does.
But then we find out that that Al has cut a jack-o'-lantern, and when he turns it on, what's on that jack-o'-lantern?
It's Bob Vila.
Oh, I thought it was Al.
Mm-mm.
I'm an idiot. You're right. I wrote down he carved himself into a jack-o'-lantern. So that's racist.
You're like he cut himself into a jack-o'-lantern, but it doesn't look very good. It doesn't really look like him.
I mean, that's
skinnier.
That's where I was last night. Hair. But here's the thing: this is where the show always goes awry. Tim has not finished his jack-o'-lantern. He has carved it, but he needs to blow out those pieces because Tim always needs more power. So yeah, he has to blow it up. So he like put oxygen or some bullshit in there. I don't know. He explained it, but
yeah, he does something to soup it up.
Yeah,
it blows it up, goes all over Al.
So Al kind of bends down because he's scared he's going to get hit with the with like he's scared the pumpkin's going to explode, and it doesn't. But it does end up in Al's mouth.
Yeah.
Somehow. Perfectly in his mouth. So then we get back to the house, Tim's house, and the mother, which I cannot fucking remember her name.
Jill.
Wait till we get to Roseanne. I'll explain that. But so Jill's making food for Brad's Halloween party.
Yes.
And she's having just a fucking she's a great mom, man. She's having a hell of a time. She's eating the worms. She's making jokes about eating body parts and all this shit.
Yep. And Tim's into it too, because he obviously is into this holiday.
Yeah.
So he's trying to make like the eyeballs more pussy looking to put, all this good stuff. But you can tell they're going above and beyond for this party.
Yeah. But there's a scream from the garage, and then he makes a joke of like, "Don't worry about the insurance, salesman." And good jokes. Not as good as Buccaneers, but
No.
So yeah, Tim's making a haunted house for the party to take the kids through.
Yes.
And Brad comes downstairs. And he's a teenage. He's probably what, in high school?
Maybe middle school, 8th
Because
grade, 7th
it's weird
grade.
when they talk about going to school. They talk a lot about recess and playing on the playground. It was a weird thing because if he's in high school, you're not talking about that so much.
Right.
So yeah, he comes down as Raggedy Andy, and he doesn't seem too happy about it, but he's doing it for a girl.
Now, I don't think this part has happened yet.
What happens after the haunted house part?
So I'm pretty sure that first, so when they're talking about all this shit going on, they're like, Jill's talking about how good her costume's going to be and how scary it's going to be.
Okay, yeah.
And so then they leave, and I think that scene cuts. And I think...
Well, I have that. I have his girlfriend is going as Raggedy Ann, and then there's the great line of men do things they don't want to do, so women will do what they don't want to do.
Okay.
And then Jill calls his bluff and was just like, "What would that be, Tim?" And he has to like, obviously he was talking about sex, but he has to talk about something else. And then I have she leaves to go get her costume.
Okay, good.
Because the costume salesman, guaranteed her this would be the scariest costume.
Yeah, the scariest costume.
Like people, like literally shit will fall out of people's bodies when they see her.
Yeah, it's completely frightening.
So she leaves to go get her costume, and then he has to go outside because every episode he has to go talk to his neighbor, who was Wilson. I feel like everybody knows Wilson, but if you don't, Wilson was his neighbor that you never saw his face. But he needs some of Wilson's chains for the haunted house.
Yes.
So Wilson, the entrepreneur as he is, also carved a pumpkin.
Of himself. This is of himself.
This one's actually of himself. So
yes.
So then, Tim's like, "You're gonna be over if you're like in the basement."
I wouldn't miss it, neighbor Rooney.
I would.
Shit like that.
And Tim's like, "But first, motherfucker, I need your meat cleaver." And he's like, "Actually, do a Wilson. Give me another Wilson word."
Red-a-roo, or something. It says he always. Neighboroni. He always says something kind of weird. I don't have a good Wilson voice. I'm sorry.
I don't either. No, I put you on the spot there. So then Tim sticks it in his head, and acts like that. He has a fucking meat cleaver's head to try to scare JTT. Doesn't work.
JTT really isn't in this episode. It's not a featured. He's not featured because Mark goes as Al. No, Mark goes as his dad.
As his dad, he goes as Tim.
And JTT is like, "You should have went as Al. We would have got more stuff, motherfucker." And Tim's like, "Damn, like that's cold."
Yeah, what does he say? Oh, is that all he says?
Yeah, he said you should have went as Al. We would have got more stuff because just he's kind of saying, yeah, Al's a lot better than.
Well, Tim. Tim seems to get picked on a lot.
Yeah,
he's kind of a buffoon on the show.
Yeah.
So then he's a pirate. The other one is Tim. Oh, and as JTT's leaving, Tim's like, "Hold on, let me see your bag." He fucking grabs the bag, and it's not hidden well. This bitch had fucking toilet paper. He had eggs,
shaving cream, and shit.
And then he did have a good line though. Was like, "I'm taking it to my friends. They asked me to get some because they didn't have time to go to the store."
So I like how Tim's like, "Don't go to any houses we don't know."
Yeah,
what does that mean?
I have this note too. It's just like, it's crazy to think about. Like, I feel like and this is some fight that Abby and I have sometimes because I'm still very set in the '90s ways of like, fucking let the kid go outside. I don't give a shit what she does. And it's like, we can't really do that anymore. And it's like he just lets the kid walk out, and that's what we did. We used to go trick or treating. Like we would just walk out of the house and go. Our parents didn't give a shit what we did.
Yeah, we could have had We could have had shaving cream in our pillowcases.
Yeah, the most we did is smash some pumpkins.
We did do that.
But I mean, out of any of the Halloween tricks, I feel like that's the least destructive. It still sucks.
Yeah.
Like now, I would be upset if someone smashed our pumpkins.
Right.
But I'd
right.
rather them smash our pumpkins that are gonna rot anyways than fucking.
Well, we
toilet
did
paper
it
my
on
house.
Halloween though. At
Yeah,
least.
yeah. But I don't want someone egging my fucking house, so I'd rather them smash
No,
my
I would.
pumpkins.
I never egged anybody's house.
So then, yeah, he let the kids walk out. And I think that Jill's come home and she's changing into her costume and she's like, check the monkey skulls, which fucking confused me at first. Like, what the fuck is a monkey skull?
Yeah, and him was like, "Oh, I fucked up the monkey
like,
skull." So wouldn't you know it?
This is why the women cook. I can't fucking worry about monkey skulls. So then she comes down in her fucking frightening costume, the one that was promised to her.
She's the biggest carrot you ever seen in your life.
And there are a couple great fucking vegetable jokes here.
There are.
Tim makes a reference to hiding the dip. And
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Hide the dip. Yeah.
So yeah, she's obviously pissed off, embarrassed, but she wears it anyway. She fucking owns that carrot costume.
She does.
And then all the friends start showing up. And then there's one awkward little kid. I can't remember his name.
His name is Curtis.
Curtis. Okay, so you remember Curtis.
Yeah.
So yeah, Curtis he just says it how it is, and he walks up to Jill and he's just like, hey fucker, man, like that. The costume is great. She's like, well, thank you. And he's like, because hold on.
Yeah.
Because does it show how fucking fat you are?
Yeah.
It's such a shitty thing to say.
And she goes back at him, and she's like, Curtis, what are you supposed to be?
Oh, Adam.
He's like, and Adam. He's like, well, then split, bitch.
Yeah. He's like,
and Curtis just kind of blankly looks at it and is like, I'm gonna go eat some of your food.
Yeah.
You fat fucking whore.
What, like, how much better would these sitcoms have been if they made them rated R?
Oh, it would have been amazing. I mean, just for a minute, like, because you would have been like, "Did I just hear that?"
Oh yeah, did I hear that? Did he call her a fucking carrot whore?
But then the most insult to injury, because Brad does look like an asshole in his Raggedy Andy outfit.
He does.
I mean, a complete douchebag. And so the next person to knock on the door is Jennifer, his longtime girlfriend, or his longtime like flame that you Jennifer's been in it before.
Yeah.
This is not the first you've seen Jennifer. And she's like, "Hello, Bradley."
Hey.
And she calls him, "Yeah, Bradley."
Hey, Bradley. Did you ever have any girls call you that in middle school? Like, hey, Bradley.
Just your mom.
Okay. I mean, technically, that's a girl telling you, saying Bradley.
I don't think she ever did, actually. No, not that I recall. I'm sure. No, actually, they did. Yeah, there was a few of them, but I don't know that I remember who it was.
Okay.
Jen McDaniel, maybe?
Oh. Good. Jenny McDaniel.
I feel like, yeah. So he's sitting there. He answers the door, and he's just like, you can see in his face that he's just like, it's almost like when somebody catches you, like when you're not doing something. Like, he's just like, fuck.
Oh yeah, because he sees what's happening.
Yeah, and then right away, Sean Hunter comes in the matching biker type outfit, because Jennifer has like the get up of
like a leather jacket,
biker, yeah. And then Sean Hunter comes in from Boy Meets World, little cameo, and he's like, "Me and Jennifer are together, bitch."
Deal with it.
He literally might as well say "bitch" the way he says it.
Yeah.
He's like, "Me and Jennifer are together now."
Why are you acting like a little fucking baby? Why don't you go cry in the corner?
Yeah, Raggedy Andy, you fuck. Yeah. And he's like, and he says it so antagonistically towards Brad. And Brad just must feel like, oh my God, not only did I lose my girlfriend, but this guy has her. And I look like such an asshole.
Yeah, he's like, now, yeah, like, look how fucking cool Ryder Strong looks. I'm stuck here with Raggedy Andy. Look at these fucking freckles. I don't want freckles.
Yeah.
I'm the cool kid with long hair. I'm Brad Longhair. That's what they call me. And now I'm stuck with Raggedy Andy.
He kind of had a mullet at this point, actually.
He did, yeah. I just remember he had long hair, and it was like,
he does have long hair.
He's the cool one. So yeah, he just doesn't understand why. She's like, "Don't you know? Like you made it perfectly clear that you fucking don't like me. So why the fuck would I dress up like some asshole like you, Brad?" He's like, "I don't know." Like he turns a little bitch. He's just like, "Now I'm dressed like Raggedy Andy, and I don't even
Yeah,
have. I'm not even gonna get any pussy out of it."
yeah. So, and him and Sean get into a little shoving match in the foyer,
Yeah.
if you will. And Tim steps in. He's like, "Hey, we don't do that around here. Fuck you, Hunter." And Brad's like, "Leave me alone," and he runs off like fucking Barry in the Goldbergs, where he has his arms flailing and shit. He runs off, and he ends up outside, I think. And Tim goes and talks to him at some point. And he's like, "Hey, no matter what, you're wrong. Just you have to say, I understand.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta say is I understand. Say it over and over again."
Yeah, the women will forgive you for fucking anything if you understand.
Yep, just say I understand. So he goes over to Jennifer because he has to, and I think at some point Jill gets caught in her. She has to take a piss.
Oh yeah.
She gets her zipper caught in the thing, and so Tim helps her, and she pushes Curtis out of the way because she already doesn't like Curtis for that fat.
Like,
So
I got to piss. I don't care about you, Curtis.
He wanted to use the bathroom too, but Jill was like, not happening. No. Brad goes over to talk to Jennifer, and apparently Jennifer still likes Brad, even though he looks so stupid.
Yeah, I think she's giving him a little hard time.
She doesn't, obviously not real into Sean Hunter.
No.
So he starts talking. He's like, and you find out the whole reason that this bitch, and I say that because this is the dirtiest thing that a girl's ever done on a sitcom. Mm-hmm. The whole reason that she made him dress like Raggedy Andy and then didn't dress like Raggedy Ann and complete the costume for him was because he didn't pick her in kickball.
Yeah, that's the reason. You didn't pick me on your kickball team.
Can you believe that?
I blew my mind. I was like, he had to have done something. Like maybe he was talking to another girl, or maybe I don't know. He missed at least missed a fucking phone call and didn't call her back. But it was because he didn't pick her for his kickball team at recess.
It was dumb. I was dumbfounded at that. Like, man, she's mean.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, do you remember when we told Dustin Geyer to dress up as Oscar? If Dustin ever hears this, I think about it every once in a while, and I'm fucking sorry, man, because that was a shitty thing to do. But
it was funny though.
I guess I don't know if we should even say full names, but fuck it, whatever. Like, yeah, we made one of our friends. We told him that we were gonna. Was it for Halloween? It had to be, right?
It was Halloween week, and I believe that it was also proficiency week, so it was like a late start. So we all had to go to school.
That's right. It was a late start. Yeah.
And we all met up at Croppers, and we told them the day before. It was Wednesday. It was Wednesday, so we were at cell group, and we were like, "Yeah, we're all gonna dress up." And then so Thursday came around because remember Trick or Treat was always on Thursday in Grove City, so it was like you could dress up in your costume. And so he gets over to Croppers. And he realizes, and he was pissed.
Yeah, he was.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I think I might even have felt bad too, because at first it was funny, and then you could see how fucking pissed he was, and it was like, maybe that was a pretty shitty thing to do.
Yeah, you know what was? He was so dressed up though.
Yeah,
it was like it's not like he had a mask on. Like he dressed. He
had the purple outfit. He had the teeth. He had the glasses. I think he had.
He had the glasses. I think he might even had a wig.
Yeah.
Like it was. It was a full like $50 or $60 fucking.
And none of us, not one of us, wore anything even remote.
No,
like, there was no mask. There was no clothes at all. It was just we were normal kids in high school, and he was fucking Austin Powers.
And if I recall, we were kind of like, you think he's actually going to do it? And he came around that corner and I think he was like swinging his arms like, oh, this mask is going to kill.
Yeah.
And,
So Dustin, if you hear this, man, that is an honest, sorry, that's an apology.
Yeah, that probably wasn't right. But he did have the option. He was literally 200 yards from his house that he could have went home.
He could have went home. Yeah.
And he said he couldn't, but if he booked it, he could have done it. It sucks, but yeah. I imagine he'd laugh at that now.
Yeah,
think.
I hope. If not,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm scared now. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It wasn't that funny.
So
It
yeah,
was, but it wasn't. Yeah.
so yeah, back to Brad and his fucking kickball problems. Eventually, he's like, "Bitch, like get over it." And she's just
Yeah.
like,
Like, I wanted to
"Okay."
win.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh yeah," he does say that shit. He's like, "I wanted to fucking win. That's why I didn't pick you." And then you see Tim
He
go.
picked another girl over
Yeah,
her.
yeah, you see
And
Tim
that's
go.
like,
Whoa, whoa, no, no, no,
Oh,
no, no,
no,
no,
don't say that. And he's like, I understand.
Yeah. So then they work it out, and then like fucking Ryder Strong doesn't seem to care. Like
No, no.
they
Not
work it
really.
out, and then it transitions to like Tim or Jill. Jill is taking the kids through the haunted garage.
Yes. It's a basement.
Basement, sorry. And you know, all of a sudden she walks down. She's like, click, 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 click. Oh no! Well, the lights don't work. Whatever the fuck shall we do, children?
Yeah.
And then Ryder Strong's like, this is some pussy bullshit. Like you guys are scared of this shit.
He is.
And then Jill's kind of like, shut the fuck up. Like, let's have some fun. Like, don't be a downer on this shit. And they go downstairs, and Tim walks out as Nana Stein.
Nana Stein.
And he's dressed up like grandma, and you know he pops out of this like whatever coffin. I don't know what the fuck it is, and he's like, "I'm Nana Stein," and then fucking walks around, and then fucking Ryder Strong grows a pair. Like his balls drop right here.
Yeah,
and
he's like, I hate everything about this house.
He's like, "Fuck you, Tim," and he's like, "You know what? If you were fucking smart, which you're not, you call that show fucking Fool Time."
Yeah, it should be called Fool Time, and he's like, and Tim should have been like, I already heard that one, you repeating piece of shit. He should have told Willie to, because I'm sure it had already been said before.
So yeah, I think Ryder Strong's the only one left now. Like all the other kids got scared of Nana Stein and ran the fuck upstairs.
And they're still kind of on the stairs, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. And he's like, "Man, look at this bullshit like fucking basement you got. You got some lights and some fucking sound effects. There's absolutely nothing down here that's gonna."
Yeah, he's like,
scare
that's
me."
just Brad's brother right there, and Mark's like, it's not me.
It's not me. Yeah. I disliked Mark. I never liked Mark.
Yeah, he got really weird too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So then there's like a bucket, and Tim's like, "Why don't you pick?" Or no, Nana Stein's like, "Why don't you pick up the bucket?" And fucking the bucket pops up, and Wilson's down there with some fake ass fucking fangs. Like I don't know what the hell. Like, but for some reason, out of anything in that basement, Wilson's head on a platter with some fake ass fangs scares the shit out of him.
Yeah, Ryder Strong is like Ryder out.
Yeah, he's riding weak right there.
I see what you did there.
So then, yeah, he runs the fuck upstairs. Everybody's happy, right? At the end, like it kind of wraps up. But then we're not done yet. Oh, and I forgot, Wilson pops out as a mummy too. By the way.
Yeah, from the ceiling, he's like hanging there and shit.
So yeah, everybody leaves, and then so Tim's got to walk. He's gonna walk Wilson back home, which I don't understand because he fucking is right next door. But so they go to walk out, and Al's like, "Hey assholes, like I can't get out of this
Still
whole
in this tool.
this whole
tool
bucket situation. Like, can you all help me?" And Tim's like, "You're fine. Like, shut the fuck up. We'll be right back. I got to take Wilson back. He's all bandaged up. Nana Stein's got a bad back. Her. And then fucking Al's like, come on, please." And he's like, "There's no spiders down here. Okay, don't worry about the fucking spiders." But then he has to worry about the spiders.
Yeah, spiders.
Yeah, it's a real fucking tarantula or whatever, and hilarity ensues.
Boom. That's 90s hilarity. I watched the Family Matters special yesterday, and it was very
See, I
90s.
feel like that we can make this a yearly thing. There's so many to fucking watch.
There's so many.
Yeah. Hold on, I got a tickle in my throat.
Time of year.
I think I'm out of drinks. I got some peanut butter and some Skittles over there. All right. So that's the end of Home Improvement. So next I have the first Roseanne Halloween special. Now, you know more about this. Roseanne, I guess, ended up becoming known for the Halloween specials, right?
Yeah, certainly. It was a yearly thing, and I believe starting on season 2, and I think they did them up through season 9, if I'm correct.
Okay. And Roseanne is the story of just kind of a working class family and what it's like to kind of be like a real Midwestern American at that time. And
Hmm.
it wasn't all buttoned up and happy and all that. Like there were tough times and, you know,
Yeah,
a family trying to get by. That was the Roseanne show.
yeah, it was more realistic to an extent.
Yeah. Um, I got this, I swear. Um, so yeah, it starts out, this is like 1988 too, I realize. 88 or 89, I think. And we get this like stock shot of like these bright orange trees, and I fucking love it. Like right away, boom, you got the fall in the Midwest.
Which the Roseanne always had those stock shots of like a street,
Mhm.
like then it ended before it actually that episode started. It would show the front of their house usually.
Yeah. And the whole family's in the kitchen making candy apples for trick or treaters. And this, I can talking about stuff we've never watched. I have never watched an episode other than with you. I've never watched an episode of Roseanne.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know anybody's names. I don't know any relationships and how they're like how they're related to each other. But I think Darlene and the blonde one are her kids, with DJ being the boy.
Yeah.
Her sister is
Jackie.
Jackie. Dan
And
is John.
Becky is the blonde.
Becky is the blonde, and then John Goodman's Dan.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty much does it because there's no boyfriends for Becky and Darlene yet.
Because that's where Galecki comes in, right?
Yeah, Mark and what's his name? What's Galecki's name in it? David. Mark and David come in.
Okay, so yeah, they're in the kitchen and making candy apples, and DJ comes in and he has an owie.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all. That's the only note I have.
She's just like fuck off, basically.
Yeah, basically she's like fucking grow a pair, bitch, and like pushes him off the counter. And then Jackie starts telling a story because I think the girls are talking about going out or doing something.
Yeah.
And Jackie starts telling a story about when her and Roseanne were younger. There was an old lady that would always scare them, and she ended up going crazy and going to the asylum. But she thinks she just got released. So
yes.
You better watch out.
You better watch out.
And oh, sorry, what?
Then don't they see her outside in the backyard? There's an old lady.
Yeah, like they play it up a little bit because then they even bring Dan into it. Dan comes into the kitchen and he tries to take an apple, but they're like, "Nah, bitch, stop!" And he's like,
"That's for the trick or treaters, motherfucker."
Yeah, he's like, "You've been married to me for how long? How the fuck do you not know?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, Dan, do you remember old lady blankety blank?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember that shit." And then he fucks up the story though because he says that she escaped from the asylum. I think the sister said that he was released.
Right.
So Roseanne covers it very quickly. She's like, I don't know what she says. I'm not gonna make it up.
I don't remember either, honestly.
Yeah. She covers though. And then they see the woman in the backyard, and then they scream and ha ha ha. It was all a joke.
First practical joke.
Because you come to find out though, and I think this keeps going on the Halloween episodes, that they just turn into pranking episodes.
To an extent, yeah, but it usually is Halloween-y pranks.
Yeah, who can scare each other the most? And Roseanne, she's like, I'm the fucking queen. I'm the master. And Dan's like, I'm the fucking master, you asshole. Like, what are you talking about? So then they have a fight. They're like, who can prank each other better?
Yes, that's pretty much exactly what happens. He's like, are you kidding me? Like when she refers to herself as the master, he's like, no chance. So you can see what's coming, and it starts a war.
Yeah. So then she kind of like combs up her hair with some hairspray and sticks her hand in the toaster to
looks to be the next morning. I suppose.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we've moved to the next morning, and she knows he's about to walk into the kitchen, so she sticks her hand in the toaster and acts like she's getting shocked. He fucking just walks right by.
Yep.
Doesn't even care.
Does not even care one little bit. She's doing the shaking and everything like that. She's trying her hardest, but
and I think he does run in, and he's like, oh my god, and then you realize that he's mad because like toast fell on the floor.
Yeah. It's not work.
And then I actually laughed about this because it's such a dick move. But then we cut to Darlene. Becky's eating cereal.
Yeah.
Like just by herself, not bugging anybody. And Darlene walks up with blood in her mouth and just opens it. And this this like spit falls into her cereal.
Yeah, this bloody spit. And Roseanne's just kind of sitting there watching it, intrigued as shit, almost with like popcorn eyes.
Yeah.
Like she has popcorn. Like did she just do that?
Yeah, I fucking laughed just because it's like, what a dick move. Like it's so
Yeah.
like, if you're enjoying cereal, don't let somebody fucking spit fake blood into it.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up, but she does it.
So then Jackie brought over a mixtape so that they can listen to scary sounds and they can play it loud for the whole neighborhood to enjoy.
Yes.
And then I put a couple notes here. I put John Goodman is the fucking backbone of this show. He's fucking great. He's animated. But then I also wrote he's a one-trick pony because it seems like anytime they say Dan, he turns into Igor and does like that fucking walk. That's all he has the entire episode.
He does kind of do that. Yeah.
So then
but his energy, he does have an energy that you want him to be like your uncle because he'd be fun as shit to be around.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember why he says that he needs to go out to the shed, but he does. He's like, hey, listen up, bitches. I gotta go out to the shed. I'll be right back. But then he runs in with a fucking towel in his hand and there's blood everywhere. He's like, I don't know what happened, but I fucking cut myself. There's blood everywhere.
Yeah, he cut himself on the saw, I believe he says. And it does. It looks real. And his urgency is great.
Yeah. And Roseanne's
like,
fuck. Yeah, she's just like, we got to get you to the hospital. And he's like, no, you don't, bitch, because I just got you. And he kind of crotch chops her and walks away.
Yeah. He has like a turkey baster under there, and he's like squirting the blood at her and shit.
Yeah. So then you find out that, well, unless you remember something happened before, but what I have next is that Darlene answers the phone, and Dan and Becky both come at the same time. And you find out that Becky is waiting to get invited to a party, but then Dan's also waiting on a call from a potential job.
It's a job that is supposed to be happening. It's just when and how, I think, needs to be figured out.
Yeah. So he's getting pissed, and I like that scene too when he just fucking like yells, and he's just like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it because I'm waiting on a phone call. And, like she's like in the other room, like talking on the phone. But then Becky didn't. Is it Becky? Right, Becky the blonde.
Yeah. Becky.
Okay. She does not get invited to like the party, like probably the cool kids party. So she's all just like, Halloween can suck a dick. I don't care.
Yeah, she doesn't want anything to do with the holiday.
So then, and then after all that happens, Roseanne's eating candy and talking to Dan. She acts like that she's choking. And Dan does not give a fuck that his wife is choking on candy because he knows what's really happening.
Yeah, he does not buy it for 1 second.
Yeah, which I'd feel awful if like Abby pulled that shit and I was like, you're not choking, and I walked away from her and then I came back 5 minutes later and she's dead.
Yeah, that'd be tough. That'd be a tough pill to swallow.
How do you explain that? Because everybody would be like, why didn't you try to help her? I'm like, well, we were doing this practical joke thing.
You couldn't ever tell anybody. You just have to be like, I
wasn't in there. She just choked on the candy by herself.
Yep.
I guess you're right, because would I be in trouble? Like, would the cops be like, you didn't try to help her?
I don't know. I don't think you'd necessarily be in trouble.
It still goes with the fear. Like, I think I told you about the fear that I have of Abby. Like, when I'm not... Actually, I could be home, but I have this fear that Abby's going to be upstairs carrying something like laundry, and she's going to trip and fall down the stairs and break her neck and die. And I have to call the cops and tell them, like, hey, I didn't murder my wife. She fell down the stairs. Because they're going to be like, oh, okay.
Okay, Richard Kimball.
Yeah, and it's like, no, I was downstairs. And they're like, oh, okay. Like, it's just, so it's like, and Abby's like, so that's what you're worried about you going to jail, not me being dead? I'm like, you're already dead. I don't need to worry about that. Now I need to worry about myself. So yeah, back to this again, another side, right? So then Lonnie couldn't be Jason, and he seems upset. Is Lonnie a recurring character? This little like neighbor boy that's a pirate?
If he is, I don't remember.
Okay, yeah. And then the one girl that didn't get invited to the party, she comes down. She's a little bit happier because she can dress up, and for some reason, she's a dead flight attendant.
Yes, I think Roseanne kind of told her, like, you're a part of this family and we celebrate Halloween, bitch.
Yeah, it's like, don't give a fuck about your party. Get up there, put some blood on yourself, and get back down here. We have kids coming.
And the one thing that you did miss is Darlene is fucking with Becky at one point, and she's like, drop dead. And Darlene hits the floor so hard and so immediately.
Yeah.
It's actually a really good physical comedy. But yeah.
So yeah, we find out that basically Roseanne has turned her entire house and like kids can walk through it.
Yes.
And I would say the house is pretty sweet. I'd be pretty geeked to go in.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, they're having fun. Like Becky reaches down in soup and there's a hand that pops up and Jackie's head is once again head with fake fangs like on a platter, and so it seems like it's pretty fun. But what happens is that this guy that was supposed to call Dan shows the fuck up.
Well, and one of the best parts of the Connor haunted house is that when somebody answers rings the doorbell, he answers the door, and there's a tape playing.
Yeah.
And he mimics the voice along to it. He lip syncs it, or whatever you want to say. It's like, welcome to the tunnel of terror.
He misses the same part. I don't know if they just replayed the same clip, but he misses the same part both times.
Yeah, he's a little bit off, and it's great. It's good to
DJ mouths this welcome. You can do it better. But yeah, I did really like that part because he has to do that so many fucking times throughout that night, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and why isn't he trick-or-treating?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so the the guy that was supposed to call Dan for the job actually shows up to his house.
Yeah, and he reminds you of
the principal in Goldbergs.
Ned the head.
Yeah, the same guy. He's in Californication too.
Okay.
Yeah. He does a lot actually, and he's wearing a suit, you know, and he's got a briefcase because it's the '80s. You wear a briefcase. So yeah, and so Dan freaks the fuck out because Dan
Ryerson. It took me a second. I'm sorry, Ned Ryerson. I had to say it because I had to.
But Dan has like something in his head. I don't know if it's a saw or a hatchet. I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's a cleaver, but I think that was Tim. But it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's so happy to see this guy, and he's like, I thought maybe we could go over the plans, but it kind of looks like you got a fucking shit going on here.
Yeah.
And Goodman just has all the energy in the world. He's like, let's do it. I mean, just go get the blueprints.
Yeah. So while he's upstairs, Roseanne sees this as her opportunity. She's like, hey, asshole, come here. He's like,
well, he's like, this is great. He shows a level of interest, and she's like, she sees that way to slide on in.
Because I think that if that happened to me, I might be a little bit embarrassed at first. Like, oh shit, like you came. Well, one, I'd be like, why the fuck you coming to my house now? But then it's like, oh well, sorry, like we're kind of in the middle of something. Like, so I would be kind of embarrassed. But you see the guy's kind of like, yeah, this is fucking cool. Like, don't be embarrassed about it.
Right.
So then she's like, hey, bitch, listen. We have this thing going. It's not a sex thing. Don't worry. I'm not going to ask you anything weird. We got this thing going where like I have to scare Dan and it's not working. I'm not bringing my A game. The queen or the master's not bringing the A game.
No.
Will you help me?
Yeah, and all she really says is, "Hey, you a sport?" He's like,
"Yeah, that's all she really says."
Yeah, she said, "He's like, you lead."
Yeah,
and she really fucking goes after.
I say this did scare me for a second because of the tie thing. Because I feel like that if I did it, if I like you came over and you're like, okay, yeah, whatever you want, and I fucking threw you down and you're like, you fucked up my shirt, I'd be like, was it expensive? Like I would start freaking out. Like I might have fucked this up.
Yeah, and that's what he says. He's like, that's a $50 tie.
Yeah.
And then he like falls back over a chair, like bad. It looks bad.
Well, like I got scared too because I'm thinking like, did he fly here? Did he drive here? And like, is that his only suit? Because if it is, it's dirty.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, and she's like, and he falls. He's like, oh, there's the back, and then Roseanne starts insulting him and saying that Dan had said that he was a big jerk anyway.
Oh yeah. Dan's like, no, don't listen to my stupid ass.
He's like, I don't understand what the hell's going on. He's like, what are you doing, Roseanne? Like, and he is just flabbergasted. Would be the word, flummoxed. Even.
But then we find out that fucking Roseanne got him. Guy's cool with it.
Yeah. He's like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, scaring you, Dan. And then the fucking Ned Ryerson looks up at him with a shit-eating grin, like, we got you.
Got you.
And he goes, whoo, whoo, and then you can see that he's like, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, listen, bitch, you might have won this one, but Halloween's not over. Because as we find out in the credit scene, he goes after her again.
The longest credit scene ever.
Yeah, he basically is wearing a hockey mask, and he's standing outside, and he scares her because he shows up as Jason.
Yeah.
And that's my first ever Roseanne experience, at least by myself.
There's more to it. There's more to it. Because then Roseanne, he comes in later, and Roseanne pretends that she's on the phone with her mom. And Roseanne's like, "Oh, you're coming.
See, I must have hit
3
back.
days.
I must have hit back before all this. I don't think I remember this.
Okay, yeah. So she's like, and Dan's like, no. He's like, and you're staying for 2 weeks? And Dan's like getting on the floor. He's like, no. And he's like, oh, okay. And she, she holds the phone, like you used to. Like, what am I? Yeah. So you can't. She's like, what am I going to do? He's like, you tell her no. You tell that woman no. And she's like, okay. And she hangs up. And he's like, no, you call that woman back. And he's all angry, getting all livid and pissed off. And then she's like, gotcha. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and then he bows down to her as the queen. So he admits to her that she is the queen.
All right. So, yeah, I guess I took the Jason.
It's a long credit scene.
Yeah, that's my bad. I didn't do the proper research. And usually, GBGG is on top of its game with all the research. That should be our tagline. All the research, all the time. Doesn't even mean anything.
No, I don't think that means anything. And usually you're always informing me of all these things, and I'm like, oh, really?
It's like you do an episode about TV shows. You can't even watch the TV show.
Emil Hirsch was on Third Rock from the Sun, and you were like, oh, that was Emil Hirsch? It was like, it was really obvious that it was. It was like, fuck yeah, that was Emil Hirsch. He's barely changed. He still looks the same.
Hey man, I think it's just like the whole like Ghoul Scouts way. Like stuff will happen. It's just like it's half-assed if it's done,
Right.
Awesome. So, the last TV show we watched, we brought up a little bit. We hit the 80s, we hit the 90s. We're gonna hit. I don't even know when the show did start. I want to say maybe it's the 2010s.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Which this was, and it's the Goldbergs.
I'm twisted up inside, but nonetheless I feel the need to say I don't know the future, but the past keeps getting clearer every day.
I will say that since I started at the first episode, and I've worked through the whole series. I'm caught up. It's fucking weird to go back and see Adam Young again.
The first season is the best season.
Well, he's still like, I don't know where they found this kid, but he's fucking gold. Like no matter what, and they put him in so many ridiculous situations, and he seems like he's always game for it. Like he'll do mostly whatever is asked of him.
Yeah, and he gets the feel of like what it was to be a kid back. Well, we weren't kids in the 80s, but we were. I mean, we were 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has that like excitement over like the things that we were excited about, such as a toy movie coming out, video game.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I'm always with Adam Goldberg.
Is the best.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff like that. Just that you're just like, oh my god, if somebody would have beat Ganon after all of that with Zelda,
yeah, I would have lost my fucking mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the first Halloween episode. I don't know what this one is called. Oh, I think it's the Who Are You Gonna Telephone Ghost Fellas, because I fucking lost it when Pop said that.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's the name of the actual episode too. So Adam is making his own costume, and it shows him like cutting shit, and he's super excited about it. Like, this is going to be the coolest fucking costume that anybody's ever seen. And then he's making it, and then it cuts out to him actually wearing it in a wide shot, and it's a Rubik's Cube. Because if you haven't watched the show, it's just basically based around this kid and his home movies that are real of his family, and he was a gigantic nerd. So he would be very excited about going as a Rubik's Cube.
Yes. Cameron would be excited about going to Rubik's Cube. He loves Rubik's Cubes for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing too about being an adult. I mean, there's no nerds when you're an adult anymore.
No.
You can be into what you're into, and it's cool. Well, at least somebody's going to find it cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then so he comes downstairs all fucking excited, and his mom, the overprotective Beverly, she's like, "Honey, wear a reflector, Tootsie Pop, or whatever the fuck she calls him,
Right.
Smoochie." And he fucking is just like, "How the fuck am I gonna wear this? My costume is literally a giant square."
Right.
And then he says something else too. It's just like she's like, "Oh, no one will notice," and he's like, "It's a reflector. It's made for people to
It's made
notice."
for people to notice.
And then so yeah, this is where and I'll get to some to end here, but this is where they start putting in like the family stuff of like this is that age where he's starting, this is kind of the Maya age where like you're starting to want to be your own person, and so like
Mhm.
the things you've done every year, he's always gone trick or treating with his grandfather because you learn that his grandfather is his best friend.
Yes.
They do everything together.
And he's kind of hip. Kind of
Yeah.
a hip grandpa.
Yeah, Grandpa's always got women around him, got a martini.
Yeah.
And so he decides that he got invited to go trick or treating with Evan Turner, just the coolest guy in school. I mean, it's fucking
Yes.
Aaron Turner or Evan Turner, sorry. And she's like, "Fuck, man, did you tell my dad about this shit?" And he's like, "Nah, Pops will be cool. Like,
Yeah. Pops doesn't
Pops
mind.
understand." And then fucking they keep bringing up the fact that Evan Turner's dad like owns or runs an Arby's.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like it when it cuts back to Jeff, Murray, I guess is his name. Jeff fucking Murray says fucking big fan. That's all.
Yeah.
Just because he can maybe get free roast beef.
Maybe get free roast beef. Yeah.
So then this is the heartbreaking part because Pop shows up with a fucking handmade, and I'm guessing Pop's made it, even though I don't know if Pop's can pull it up. Handmade Ghostbusters outfit for him and Adam to wear when they go
Yes.
trick or treating. And that's where he says the line, which makes me laugh. He opens the door and he's just like, "Who are you going to telephone? The ghost fellas."
Which perfect. My dad always got the names of stuff wrong.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the thing. Parents are always just going to kind of get just something a little bit wrong.
That's what I was just saying, and we kind of this lost connection. But my dad was the king of getting something just slightly wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes way wrong. But
Your dad
yeah.
also is the kind of guy, at least it seems to me, that like if he did get it wrong and if he tried to correct him, he wouldn't give a fuck.
No, he always for years he called it Nintendo.
I just see you getting upset, like, "Oh, Bradley, Jacob, you guys liking that Nintendo?" And like,
And he's like, "I'm gonna go play some Nintendo." He played Zelda. My dad did. He enjoyed it, and that's what he would say. And I think that it became the name of it for a while.
just Nintendo.
Nintendo, if I recall correctly.
So then, Adam has to tell Pops that he's not going trick or treating with him. Pops is like, "I mean, that's cool, but Pop's heart is fucking broken."
Yeah, he's like, well, his dad does own an Arby's.
Oh yeah, he does say that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like, so he gotta understand. It's like,
and then we find out too, if you're not familiar with the show, Adam has two siblings, Barry and Erica, and Erica is actually replacing his real sibling, who is Eric. In the real life, Adam Goldberg has two brothers, but we get Erica and Barry. And Barry is kind of the buffoon of the family. He's intense. I think Beverly described him as he runs hot all the time.
yes.
And he's going as the Incredible Hulk, and he's painted his entire body with green paint. He has the wife beater, and he has the cut-off jean shorts. Beverly's just like, "Will you fucking help me hand out some candy? Because every year I hand out candy, and you're just sitting in your fucking chair." And Murray's like, "Suck it. No, I'm not. Like, there's no reason for me to hand out candy." And she seems pretty upset by it. But then we get the sister. We get Erica with the sexy costume, and Erica's wearing the fuck out of that costume.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to the same party. Her and Barry are going to the party, the costume party, and she drops a little bomb to Beverly, the overprotective mother. She's like, "Barry's going to talk to Lexi," I think is her name.
Lexi Bliss.
Lexi Bliss. And she's like, "That bitch is way out of hit. Every girl is out of Barry's league." So fucking.
Or am I thinking of Alexa Bliss from
wrestling?
WWE?
It's Lexi
Lexi
something.
Bliss?
It's Lexi Kaufman. No, Lexi Kaufman is Alexa Bliss's real name. Let's just say that it's Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is at this party.
Yes, Alexa Bliss.
And she's like, "This girl fucking modeled in the JC penny catalog. Like,
which was a big
yeah,
fucking deal.
you're not going to get any higher than that. And fucking look at Barry. He's painted green. He's going to go talk to this girl. This is going to be fucking great for me. But what she doesn't, well, what she should have known is that Beverly is going to freak the fuck out because she doesn't want to see her kid's heart get broken.
Right.
So yeah, so she's just like, so they leave for the party, and Beverly's like, I gotta fucking go to this party, and Murray's like, don't go to that fucking party, and she's like, I'm gonna go to the party. He's
Yeah.
like, don't go to the fucking party, and
Yeah,
then
he's like, don't meddle, don't
yeah,
meddle.
yeah, don't meddle, and she's like, well, I did run out of Rolos, so I better go get some. And for some reason, I mean, Murray gets it. He's like, don't go to that fucking party, and she's like, I'm not, and then she leaves and goes to the party.
Right.
And so
she dresses as a simple ghost,
Yeah.
like from Charlie Brown,
yeah,
but she does get the 2 eye holes right at least.
she gets the eye holes right, and she's just kind of walking around the party, and she sees Erica talk Barry into going and talking to Alexa Bliss, and fucking Barry's like, all right, I got this shit, and he goes to walk over to Alexa Bliss and fucking hangs a left real quick and gets the fuck out of there. He's not gonna do it. And then Beverly, the mom, takes this opportunity to go talk to Alexa Bliss because she's just like, maybe if I talk Barry up, this could work. And right away, she's out of line because she's like, do you know who the coolest or most handsome guy in school is?
Yeah, she sounds like she's like, you know who's the bee's knees? And
Yeah.
she's like, it's all like out of place and out of context and not how anybody would talk.
And if you notice too, like when she's moving her hands and talking, she has a wedding ring on. Like there should be nobody at this party with a wedding ring on, but no one
Right.
picks up on it. That was just something little. But then Alexa Bliss fucking names like 10 people in front of Barry. Like Barry's not on this list of cool and handsome guys.
Yeah.
And I think that she referred to him as the guy who got upset because the lunch lady wouldn't give him something. I don't know what it was.
Oh fuck, what was it? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Which then in my head I played it out of Barry yelling at a lunch lady, and it made me laugh.
Because that is a recurring thing
Yeah.
that he's known for, and I can't believe I can't remember. It's like a ding dong or something like that. I don't know.
So then we cut back to Murray at home because now he's left with the candy because
Right.
his wife's not coming back. He told her not to meddle. She meddled. She's not coming back. So now he has to deal with the candy. So he's with Pops because Adam's out with fucking Evan Turner. So he's like, I'll just put out the fucking candy like in a bowl and
Right.
say, take one. Like that makes sense. And then Pops is like, you're a fucking idiot. Like,
Yeah.
open the door. He opens the door and it's like, it hasn't even been like 3 minutes. Like he gets all fucking
Yeah.
upset about it. I can't do a Jeff fucking impression.
Yeah, it's his enunciation of things
Yeah.
is
So then he's like, I don't know the fuck to give these kids. And he's like, I got coffee cake. Kids love coffee cake. So he starts handing out coffee cake, which I think I skipped over the entire, I didn't put a note about what Adam is doing.
Adam. He if I recall correctly, he shows up when it's still kind of earlier, and he shows up in a costume, and the other kids aren't wearing costumes, much like a certain.
And he
And
has
he's
the worst excuse ever. The kid goes, are you fucking wearing a costume? And Adam goes, yeah, I stole it off some kid that was going to go trick-or-treating. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And then I think they go start moving along and
Yeah.
starting their havoc wreaking.
Yeah, so they're knocking over shit. And then you get to the big thing where the coffee, like Evan comes by and he's like, this fucking lame ass house down the way is giving out dry ass coffee cake. Like, we need to go do something about it. And Adam, and of course Adam's the good kid. Like Adam's the kid that he's responsible and he's unsure about this whole thing anyways. He's like, we could get into trouble. Like, this is pretty shitty. Because I think he even says something like, when they knock over something and it breaks off somebody's house, he's like, yeah, it's probably not like some kid fucking worked really hard on that or anything. Like, so like he understands like these aren't good people. Like,
Right.
They're doing
You could tell he very much so regrets his
decision. Yeah.
but he just doesn't. He's locked in at this point.
Yeah. So then when he's like, yeah, I'll fucking, God, I don't want to go egg this house, but Evan Turner, the free roast beef guy, right?
Right.
And so do we find out then where the house is? Yeah.
Yeah, you find out that that has to egg his own house. He has to make the choice.
And he fucking throws it perfect. Like, he doesn't want to do it, and he fucking decides, he throws that fucking egg. And at the same time, old Murray Goldberg opens that door to put out more coffee cake. And then, right in the face.
Right in the face. Old egg face Murray.
Old egg face Murs. OEM.
And he sees Adam sitting there. So Adam is caught red-handed, if you will.
He can't lie his way out of it at all.
No.
Then we cut back to the party, and fucking Barry's in the kitchen, and like fucking Alexa Bliss just keeps staring at him. But obviously, you see right next to her is the ghost mom, because the mom's talking him up. So Erica's like, she's fucking looking at you, bruh. Like, go talk to her. He's like, I got this shit. Don't worry about it. And so he goes up and talks to Alexa, and he says, anywho, and he gets upset about himself saying anywho. That's the only thing I really remember about it. And in the middle of it, some kid's fucking like dancing or something and bumps into him and knocks the fucking punch like all over Alexa.
Yeah.
And then to add insult to injury, he like grabs her to make her feel better, but forgets that he's painted all in green.
Yes. So it's basically one thing on top of another goes bad for him.
Yeah. So Alexa's not fucking happy. And then if that wasn't enough, somehow I don't even know how he finds out. How does he find out that his mom's there? You there?
Does he hear her talk?
Maybe. I know eventually she calls him delicious, but I don't.
Yes.
I don't know why. I don't know how he finds out, because eventually he like rips off her, like the ghost costume does come off of her.
Yes.
And that has to be.
Or is it Erica that finds it out?
Yeah.
Is Erica like, Mom?
Yeah, I think that may be what it is. And you know how fucking devastating that would be if you're at a party and your mom showed up trying to get you laid, basically.
Oh,
like that's what she was doing.
That's the only bad thing about the show is Barry is overdone, and I get that, but Beverly at times is like so overdone that it's like, all right.
Yeah. So yeah, that happens. He's embarrassed, and he fucking and he leaves. And then it goes back to Adam back at the house, and he's stuck at the kitchen table, like in trouble. Pops can't help him this time, because you're right. He's caught red fucking handed.
Yes.
And he's just like, oh, you better fucking wait till your mom gets home. Oh man, you're gonna be in so much trouble. Fucking merman's got it taken care of. And then Beverly comes home, and she doesn't give a fuck about anything Adam's doing.
No. And then I believe they start to feel bad for Adam, because Adam kind of laments how bad his night has actually been.
Yeah.
And how he basically fucked up making the choice he made. He should have just went with Pops.
Yeah. Well, I think that like that's when, because Murray makes him go up and clean the egg off the house. And I fucking laughed at that, because there's so much egg on the house that Adam's sitting there cleaning, he's wiping it, and Murray's just watching him, and every time Adam stops, he's just like, you missed a spot. Because there's still like egg on the fucking roof.
Yeah.
That shit made me laugh, because that's something I would do to Maya, just to be a dick. Like, you're not done yet. You got to keep going.
Right.
So yeah, Beverly comes home, and Murray tells her, he finds out that Beverly went to the party, and then he's like, the best thing to do with your kids is fucking leave them alone. That's how you be a great parent. You just let them figure it out for themselves. And then like they look out the window, and Erica comes home, and Barry's sitting there on the curb, just sad Hulk, just. And Erica kind of talks to him, and it's just like, hey man, I know this sucks, and it's my fault because I told Mom. And he's like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, he's like, what? Why would you do that?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, I'm Erica. And so then so she fucking talks him into going to another party, because she's like, there's this girl that thinks you're cute, and he's like, oh, Hulk up, you know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't do that, but. So they get in the car, and they take off, and everybody's happy, and they fucking smile. And so then Adam has a realization that he fucked up with Pops.
Yes.
And he's like, hey Pops, you want to go as a ghost fella? And then this is what I was like wanted to say about the Goldbergs. And it's just because I'm older. And this episode's going to make me sound like I cry over everything. But I don't know if there's an episode by the time it's done that I'm not at least a little bit teary-eyed or emotional. Because, like, no matter how ridiculous the Goldbergs gets, like, there's always a good message about family in there. And for some
Mhm.
reason, like, as Adam starts realizing, and they, they have the Patton Oswalt fucking voiceover, like, you see him and Pops in the Ghostbusters outfit and all that shit. And for some reason, it just got me once again. I just was like, this is so sweet. Like, it's so wholesome. Like, he learned a lesson. Because as you watch this show, Adam becomes more and more of a dick to his family.
Yeah.
But he always, like, by the end of the episode, he realizes that he was wrong. And for some reason, it just, like, it always makes me, like, not sad cry, but it just makes me like, this is a good family. Like, I don't know why, but it does.
No, I mean, I know what you mean. It is kind of each lesson is learned.
Yeah.
And different people learn it sometimes. Sometimes it's Barry, sometimes it's Erica, sometimes it is Adam.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even the parents, especially maybe.
Bevs.
Actually, I was going to say Jeff.
Murray?
Murray.
Yeah. Well, because
So-
he's always so hard, I guess. I don't know, like, he doesn't have
Yeah.
any emotion. So when they give him emotion, it's different. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so that was the 4 episodes we watched for 2020. We had a Roseanne, we had a Third Rock from the Sun, we had a Home Improvement, and we had a Goldberg.
Yeah, all of them are really good too. And
Yeah.
um,
Roseanne was one that I got caught watching a lot because one, I had, I think I watched it with you drunk, but other than that, I've never watched a Roseanne, and I just wanted to kind of figure it out. And I caught myself watching this more than, like, when we watch a movie, I'm more worried about taking notes and making sure I get shit. This one, not so much. I don't feel. I wasn't. I was actually watching the TV shows.
and I didn't take notes, and one of the reasons I had already watched 2 of them when we had decided what to watch.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, well, I didn't really want to go back and watch them again.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. But it was actually harder to do this than I thought it would be. But if anybody wants to watch them, the Goldbergs is on Hulu.
Goldberg's on Hulu,
Roseanne is on Amazon Prime.
and so is Third Rock.
I didn't see Third Rock being available through Prime.
It's free with commercials.
Oh, okay.
So,
there
yeah.
you go. It's free with commercials.
Yeah.
And then the last one, we have to go through YouTube, and it's weird. It's like a little screen, and it's
Yeah,
kinda
you're
odd,
gonna
but-
hear the Tim the Toolman Taylor's gonna be a little.
Yeah, he's gonna be a little more gruff.
But yeah, so I had fun with this one, and like I said, it took me back to the '90s, so that always makes me happy.
Yes.
So this is our Halloween episode. I hope everybody has a fucking holly jolly Halloween.
Yes, and we will return in November once Halloween is over,
Yes.
and you have to wait another year for it.
Yeah, wait, but it'll be worth the wait. And I think we have our next episode. I think is going to be really good. If we're going with what we're going with.
I don't remember what we're going with.
See, that's the type of research we do here at GBGG. That's what you come to expect. That's why you listen to us, because we don't know what the fuck's going on half the time from day to day. So you get what you
Obviously,
get. But yeah, so this time, go watch a TV show.
Grant and Brad's Ghastly Gal.
This is